Well, hello, Geraldine.
Well, hello, Vicky.
And welcome to Lawfully Yours, our lovely podcast. It's a brand new year at the time of recording.
It is, isn't it?
Just
Happy
for
New
those, Happy New Year, yes. For those that are new to listening to us, our dulcet tones, and to our existing followers, just a reminder, we have a brand new email address, which is Lawfully Yours.
What is it?
Which is love. Do you not know what it is?
It sounded like you said it wrong, but carry on.
What
Just
did I
ignore
say?
me. Anyway, go on. What is
Got my
it?
teeth in. It's lawfullyyourspod@gmail.com. We are on Instagram. And we are on TikTok.
Have you seen how many views we've been getting?
We have.
It's amazing. It's all thanks to our chap in the corner.
Our chap in the corner
Our
there.
chap in the corner.
So follow us on Instagram and TikTok. We are Lawfully Yours Pod. And don't forget, we're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts and Amazon. And we are both on LinkedIn.
I feel a bit traitorous to the Spotify because we're forgetting about Spotify and we're just going for Insta and TikTok.
Well, you might be. I'm not.
Oh,
well, and we're on YouTube.
And we're on YouTube.
Gosh.
I know. We're everywhere. Can't miss us.
I have to say, some of the shorts that have been posted on our social media are quite funny.
They are funny.
Yeah,
they are.
It is brilliant.
Yeah, it's good.
It is very, very good. So anyway, how are you?
I'm good.
I had 2026.
I did. In our kitchen, we have a cupboard full of mugs.
Well done.
It's full of mugs. So everyone agreed in the house that we could, I'm just looking to make sure, that we could clear out the mugs.
Okay.
In the garage.
Funny, because we had a similar conversation.
Did you? How many mugs have you got in your house? Do you reckon?
Probably 15.
So I cleared out in the garage 40 mugs.
Oh, Geraldine.
And we've still got a shelf full of mugs.
Why on earth?
Because you get mugs and
do people buy you them and stuff?
And then when you go places, like, oh, that's nice. And I did even buy more mugs at Christmas, like hot chocolate mugs sort of thing. They are pretty cool though. So yeah,
we've got loads of I've got one with a cockapoo on it because of Danny, and I've got a mama bear one and that sort of thing. But yeah, and they all. As much as a mug can mean something, they're all like, no, I like that one. I want to keep that one.
When you buy mugs, you buy mugs for a reason, don't you? So
I would love to have just a really nice set of matching mugs.
Would you?
Yeah, but then I'd be like, well, what about that one and what about that one?
Yeah, you can't. No.
40 mugs.
40.
Have you taken them to the charity shop?
No, they're in the garage.
What are they doing in the garage?
You're
just going to bring one in every time one breaks?
Well, I don't know.
You set up a mug shop.
When Amy and Matthew move out, they can take a load because
Matthew, did you know that you're moving out?
Whenever they do, they can take a load of mugs with them, can't they? Or if some break, then
that's it. You don't need to buy anything else,
They
Matthew.
won't.
No,
they won't. That garage is like a little mini home. It's got a washing machine in there. It's got a sofa in there. Now it's got mugs.
Wow.
I know, it's good.
And
so I'll ask you about yours in a minute.
Ooh.
So me and Amy, every year we go to see something at the Curve, and this year we went to see The Sound of Music.
I've been to see it.
Oh my God, it's amazing, isn't it?
Love it.
So good.
Yeah, so good.
So good. Did you get the Curve brochure?
No.
So we picked that up, right? And in there, they do something called the Curve Community Programme.
Right.
Have you heard of it?
No.
So basically, it's like, I've always said I like acting and stuff like that, haven't they? So they put on these sessions. They put on these sessions. They put on these sessions where you can pay to go for 10 classes, like once a week over a period of 10 weeks.
Right.
And you can do like improv, acting, bit of amateur dramatics, singing and stuff like that. I'm not quite sure, but it's that sort of things. But the last one they did was October, so I thought I'd email them to see if they're doing it again this year. They got back to me and said, yeah, we're doing it again, starting in February. If you want to join, click on the link, blah, blah, blah. So I'm doing it. I start in February.
What are you going to do?
I have no idea. How cool is that,
Don't you have to go with an idea?
No. So you just go along, and then I assume they'll...
And how much was that?
£96, that was it.
Oh, wow.
For 10 weeks. Once a week for 10 weeks.
That is quite good value, actually.
Yeah, it is. So they'll help you draw out your acting skills. Because my plan is, if at the end of it they say to me, "You do have potential," I'm going to carry on. I'm going to do amateur dramatics. Okay. If they tell me I'm shit, then that'll be the end of my dreams.
Don't think you've got enough going on then?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
What about you?
What about me?
Anything happening?
Well, still moving, so that's all still going ahead. We had a lovely break in Norfolk over New Year. That was really, really nice. Went to see the house that we're buying again, measured up and stuff. That was really good. Still really happy. I need to tell you about Danny.
Who?
Danny
your
dog.
Oh.
So he's been having a few problems. He's getting a little old, bless him. So he's been having a few problems, and he doesn't like going to the vet. So when he goes to the vets, if he has to be examined, he either has to have a general anaesthetic,
Wow.
or they have to give him some medication to sedate him. Now, when he went previously for something else, they gave him something to calm him down. I can't remember what it was called. It'll come to me in a minute. I'll have Tourette's and I'll just blurt it out. So they gave him one tablet. It didn't make the blind bit of difference. So when I rang to make the appointment and said, he's going to need some medication, they gave me 2 of these tablets. I don't know if it was amitriptyline.
Oh, wow.
Okay. 2 of these tablets and then another tablet. And on the instructions, it said, give him 2 and 1 in the evening and then 2 and 1 2 hours before the appointment. So I did that, absolutely fine, 10:30 at night. After we came back from seeing The Sound of Music, gave it in, went to bed, that was fine. He gets up a couple of times in the night, sometimes for a week, this old boy. So we got my daughter up, he was fine, that was about midnight. About 3 o'clock, I thought, I need to wee myself now. Tried to get, because the dog sleeps with us, you see.
Oh, okay.
Tried to get out of bed, couldn't get out of bed because Danny was there. So I had to literally climb over him. Anyway, I said, come on, Danny, come off the bed, let Mummy get back in. Nothing.
Gone.
So I put the light on and he was like, it frightened the life out of me. So I picked him up, put him on the floor and he just collapsed. I was like, golly, something's wrong with Danny, something's wrong with Danny. This is 3 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, long story short, we take him to the vets at 3 a.m.
Jesus.
Because I thought he was dying, basically, or that he'd had some terrible reaction. Yes, it's just the medication. We may have given him a little too much. A little? But, oh, my God, he was so spaced out.
Oh, bless him.
Wasn't good.
I bet he was relaxed then, wasn't
Well,
he?
very.
Yeah.
Too much, actually.
Is he all
but
right
that's
now?
another story. Yes, he's fine. He's got some medication for being a little old man. Bless him.
How old is it
His
then?
little problems. He's 12.
Oh.
Quite old for a doggy. And I've got to tell you this. I've forgotten all about it until I came in and had this microphone.
Okay.
So me, Colin and Katie went to see Peter Kay.
Oh,
Have you
yeah.
seen him?
I haven't seen him live, no.
Honestly, so he goes through round the audience. He's talking about old adverts for sweets.
Oh, yeah.
If you like a lot of chocolate on your biscuit, join our club.
club.
So he's doing all those sort of adverts and stuff. And he was asking the audience to participate. And this woman put her hand up, and she did the flake advert.
Oh, the crumbliest, flakiest chocolate.
But she had them. They gave the audience the mic. Yes, so she was very suggestive with the microphone.
Oh, my God.
And
Really?
she's literally there on the big screen.
I bet everyone was pissing it.
Oh, honestly. It was the best thing ever.
Wow.
He
Well,
was
for
very
her.
funny. I thought of you, actually. I thought that's the sort of thing that
It
you
possibly
do.
is.
Anyway, how's January treating you?
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, I'm a bit pissed off with January, to be honest.
God. What's up with you
No, just a bit. I think I've got the January blues. I just feel
Oh.
really pissed off. Everything's pissing me off. I've had to
Pissing you
pay,
off.
pissing me off. I've had to pay to have new tyres on the car, new brakes on the car. Bloody traffic getting here today, the bloody rain. A client ringing me up wanting free advice.
Yeah.
No, I'm not giving you free advice. How am I supposed to make a living? I don't go to the garage and say, can you put 3 tyres on for free?
They expect it
And
these days.
it's just like,
Yeah, I know.
pissing me off, Jezza.
Oh, bless you. But you're here
I'm
with
here.
me.
It's a new year.
It's a new year. It's a new day.
Oh, there she goes. There she goes.
There's a song about that, isn't there?
Apparently so.
Oh, if anybody is a dream analyst or a dream.
Oh, what have you been dreaming about?
So they need to
Not
come on the
Jordan
show.
North again.
No, not this time. No. So I had a dream, right? I think our program I was watching, I think it played on my mind. So basically, my dream was I decided to walk to London. Don't know why. Decided to walk to
What,
London.
London Road?
So I was walking, but then all of a sudden I was getting tired. So I decided to lay all flat on the floor and crawl instead of walking. And everybody was walking around me. So I was crawling like flat, not on all fours, like flat crawling. And I crawled all the way to Nottingham. That was my dream.
And what did you do when you got to nothing?
No, that was it. I woke up then.
Okay.
So I don't know why I was complete opposite
So
ends,
if
aren't
there
there?
are any experts
London,
out there who
London.
can interpret Jess's dream, please do get in
Please
contact.
absolutely tell me what that means.
Don't forget our email address
What is it?
is lawfullyyourspod@gmail.com. Do please email
Do
us.
please. Do
Do
please.
please. Have you been watching The Traitors?
Oh, yes.
Love it.
Oh, my God. Did you watch it this week? Have you watched it?
Yes.
How it ended?
Yes.
They're just... Well, we can't say in case people have...
Yeah.
Well, they would have by this time it
I
goes out.
might not have. They might be on holiday. Might want to catch up.
I was
on
like, oh
it.
my God, I need to watch the next one, But it was like 11:30. So I was like, no,
Yeah.
I've got to turn the telly off now.
Where are you up to then?
Where they were staring at each other. Rachel and the other girl staring at each other.
Oh, you're quite behind then. You're not. Yeah.
There wasn't... It said, watch the next episode. So maybe I'm a couple behind.
I think you are.
They were in the turret and they were staring at each other.
Yeah, no. You
I'm
were
a bit behind.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh my God.
Oh, it gets better.
Threw her under the bus.
Gets better.
Can't wait for that.
Anyway, you done any jazzers, Jazza?
Yes, I have done a jazzer.
Oh, she's referring
This
to
is
her
quite
notes.
funny, actually. So I had an email with a new inquiry, and it was it's like, can you call this person? So I rang the number, and I was like, fuck's sake. Then my phone started ringing. I was like, ugh. So you know what I'm going to say, don't you? So I did it a couple of times. Every time I rang the number, then someone was ringing me on my phone. So I was like, just stop. And then I realised I was ringing myself.
Why were you doing
I
that?
have no idea.
How did you do that?
Because obviously, when they put the details on the email, it's got the name, it's got the telephone number. Then at the bottom, it's obviously got my number. So subconsciously,
you've obviously got two phones then, like a drug dealer.
yeah, like a drug dealer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Subconsciously, I just rang my number, but I was getting annoyed with myself because I was like, "Why's my phone ringing?" So I was getting pissed off.
I've got a friend. I've got a friend that was looking for her phone and she couldn't find it, so she says, "I'll ring my phone from a phone." But she got a phone in her hand. Diane, if you're listening, you know who you are.
That is brilliant. That's better than mine.
Honestly.
That's funny.
Oh,
That's
anyway.
funny. So,
I was told, obviously we're moving house, I've not mentioned it before, but I was told that there's normally an influx of new properties that are released on Boxing Day because people have kind of been on the run up to Christmas thinking, oh my God, I've not got enough room for all my relatives to come and stay or have dinner or whatever. So
you've moved house because of that?
there's a lot of people sort of selling houses. Have you had an influx of inquiries after the
No,
after
so I want
Christmas
to talk
and New
about
Year?
this. I don't know which book it's in. This book.
Oh my
Yeah, I want
word.
to talk about this.
Oh, of course you do.
Okay, I've
Floor
got
is
lots
yours.
of notes. So I don't forget
Oh.
anything. I'm going to save that one. We're not going to talk about that one.
Oh, okay. Don't
So-
talk about that.
Yeah, divorce. Well, I'll briefly touch on it. So basically, no, there is no such thing as divorce.
So is
day.
that a myth
It's
then?
a complete myth.
Oh, okay.
Made up, complete myth.
Okay.
But I do want to talk about divorce
Of course you do.
because it is obviously
That's what you do.
January. I think it's to do with like the emotions and things
Yeah.
of the of Christmas and New Year and stuff like
I,
that.
I can understand. I would have believed that there was a divorce day or a divorce month because, you know, you are in close confinement with people and...
Realise you don't like them.
Yeah. And you get the January blues and everybody pisses you off.
Yeah. Wow.
Including... Exactly.
But no, but I want to talk about divorce.
Go on then.
Okay. So I've got some statistics.
Statistics.
So everybody think, what would you say the percentage of marriages end in divorce? Everyone says like 50%, don't they?
I would say higher than that.
No, it's lower. It's 42%.
Still quite high though, isn't it?
It
Still
is
quite
high,
a lot.
but it's not all doom and gloom.
Okay.
So 42% of marriages, that's statistics at the moment. That's lower than it used to be.
66% of my marriages ended in divorce. That was
100%
good maths.
of
Yeah,
at the moment.
I would say, sorry, I'm going off topic a bit, but I would say that's because that was for research purposes, so that you could say to your clients, I know exactly how you're feeling.
Exactly. Exactly.
Do carry on, Jez.
So the average age of men getting divorced is 47
Oh.
and women is 45.
Oh.
Later marriages end in divorce.
Oh.
Later marriages end in later divorces. People are getting married older now, so therefore they'll wait. Yeah, you know what I mean. Anyway.
Not quite sure I do. But...
The average duration of a marriage before divorce is 12.5 years.
Oh.
Got a few years to go yet. Yeah.
Okay.
So I've got. So obviously, since 2022 we have the no fault divorce, which means you don't
Yes.
need a reason to get divorced. But there's some quite funny ones I want to give you. So these are bizarre divorce grounds.
Go on then.
In the 15th century, in the Ottoman Empire, we had something called the coffee law.
Right.
Okay. So a woman at that time could divorce her husband if he failed to provide her with a fresh daily supply of coffee, because it reflected the cultural and economic significance of coffee in daily life. The tradition of pouring coffee was seen as a demonstration of affection, so the lack of pouring the coffee was seen as neglect and disrespect.
And I think in 2026 we can substitute coffee with wine.
For you, or vodka.
Yeah. Or gin.
We also have the Burgundian tribes.
Oh, easy for you to say.
So in the Burgundian tribes, they would smother a woman in a swamp or bog if she tried to get divorced.
What, and kill her?
The tribes do not exist any longer as a distinct
surprised.
group, but their legacy is still seen in the region of Burgundy, France.
Wow.
I know.
But they weren't like put up for murder or anything like
No.
that. It was okay to do that.
It was okay.
Wow.
Bit of a contrast with the coffee one, isn't it?
Oh, a bit.
One of the most scandalous divorces in British history was between the Duke and the Duchess of Argyll in 1963. Have you heard about it? It's called the Headless.
No.
The Headless something. Anyway, there was a photo of the
something.
Duchess in a compromising position. I can't speak today. There was a photo of the Duchess in a compromising position with a man whose head was cut off in the photo. I pause there for dramatic effect. Did you like that? So basically, there was a photo of her in a compromising position with the guy, but it had no head in the photo. That's why it's called the headless divorce.
So it wasn't like cut off on the photo. You know, sometimes I'll take a photo and I've cut somebody's
The
head
head
off.
just wasn't in the photo. They just took a picture of him without the head.
Oh, so he hadn't been
no,
decapitated?
but I paused for dramatic effect.
Oh,
Anyway,
disappointing.
So, the Duke accused her of infidelity with 88 men and used the photo of evidence in divorce. And the identity of the headless man still remains a mystery. That's one of the most scandalous divorces. Okay.
I can think of more scandalous ones, but
We now have strategic divorce.
Strategic.
Instead of the no-fault, because of the no-fault divorce, we have strategic divorce.
what does that mean?
I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
So people are moving away from the reactive fights to protective planning. Is it sparkling?
I'm sorry.
You need to put your teeth back in.
Oh, that's
Oh
disgusting.
no, it's horrible. You can have some of mine. If you
No,
want.
it's okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Excuse me.
So yes, so because of the strategic divorces, we now have the post and the prenups.
Okay.
Post-nuptial agreements and prenuptial agreements.
That are now legal.
No.
Oh. You start again, please.
So before the no-fault divorce, you found, obviously, people were arguing. They found unreasonable behaviour, adultery. We had all of that. Now we have the no-fault divorce, so people don't need a reason to get divorced.
They just
So
want
now
to.
they're being more strategic.
Okay.
And they're thinking more about pre- and post-nuptial agreements, which
Okay.
is something I do, a service
Okay.
I offer, but that's what people are doing now. Social media also plays a huge part in divorces,
Yeah.
even though we have the no-fault divorce, because people see this and use this, and they seem to use it as a reason to separate. So it's not relevant to the divorce.
I thought you meant that they see posts that their spouse has put on or that they've
all
contacted.
sorts of things,
Okay.
all sorts of things, and they're using that as a reason to separate.
Oh, yeah.
Got
It's,
some
it's like,
wedding links.
Oh.
Okay. There's a significant correlation between expensive weddings and shorter marriages. So
That
couples
fits.
who spend £20,000 or more on their wedding are more likely to divorce than those who spend less than £10,000.
wow.
It's not the financial thing itself, but the reason is because they tend to argue then more about the cost of the wedding than getting into debt and how to repay it. That's
Okay.
one reason.
Okay.
Another is they're mismatched in life and values. So one person is wanting to spend loads of money on a divorce.
Well, what if they both want to send?
That's
spend
fine.
loads
Then
of-
they won't get divorced, will they?
Okay.
And
Okay.
also external pressures.
Yeah.
There's lots of interesting facts there. Why do we wear the wedding ring on the left hand? Do you know?
I don't actually.
I'm going to tell you.
Please,
Are you
Geraldine,
ready?
why do we wear a wedding ring on our
It's
left
due
hand?
to the ancient belief that the left ringed finger has a vein known as the veno amoris. that runs directly to the heart,
Ah.
symbolising love and commitment.
Oh,
I know.
that's lovely.
It is, isn't it? Bridal bouquets made of flowers. Traditionally, they were made of herbs and spices to ward off evil spirits and bring good fortune.
Interesting.
So that's all my interesting stuff.
Okay.
The divorce process itself.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about that briefly.
Okay.
Obviously, you make the divorce application, you get the conditional order, which used to be called the decree nisi. You then get your final order, which used to be called decree absolute.
That's very new, isn't it?
Since 2022.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the divorce process itself takes in the region of between 6 to 8 months.
Okay.
But people, obviously, when they're getting divorced, they're going through a lot of emotions. They tend to be grieving and things like that. So, but I want to try and put a different spin on it. Not a spin, but try and get people to think of it differently.
Yeah.
So, obviously, people in unhappy marriages should think of divorce as a reset.
Yeah.
Yeah? Focus on the new future, inspirations, dreams and goals, a new, better you, a new, happier you.
Yeah.
Divorce can be transformative. It gives you a new sense of self-worth. You can pursue passions.
Oh.
You can have lots of personal growth. Divorce can be an emotional roller coaster. Feelings can be overwhelming, but they do get better over time.
Yeah.
You need to change your mindset to you and your self-belief. Talk with friends, counsellors, and positive people. Because when you get divorced, you can be surrounded by negative people, and that's not any good.
It's a whole negative situation, isn't it? When you look at it generally as a negative situation.
So you don't want that.
That's a good rule for life generally, though, isn't it? And why can't you do that with, or what you should be doing that within the marriage? You know, you still should be an individual.
Talking about divorce.
Sorry.
That's okay. It isn't the end. It's the start of a new chapter in your life. So when I got divorced, I felt grief. I felt alone. I was sad. I was unsure of my future. I had a young son, but eventually we managed to put our feelings aside, co-parent, and just try to be the best parents that we could. And that's what you've got to aim for. Obviously, it's not easy, but it's something that you should try and aim for. What would a lot of people say to themselves on day one that they filed for the divorce? So retrospective hindsight, you've got to tell yourself that you have control, because people feel out of control. Yeah. You do have control. You need to get organised. You need to understand the process. You need to protect your emotional well-being. Do not, in bold capital letters, do not use children as pawns. You will regret it in time to come. You could look at getting a divorce coach, and you could look at hiring me to make the journey more enjoyable.
Get you. I think from my experience, so I don't like to advertise it, but I've been divorced twice. My first marriage and divorce were very amicable. Father of my children, obviously I remarried him last year, but we always focused on the children. Never ever argued in front of them or badmouthed the other. My second marriage and divorce was very messy. And I think after that, I felt a failure. I felt that there must be something wrong with me to not be able to hold down 2 marriages. And I think that's quite I wish I'd have heard you say that about putting the positive spin on it, because for me, it should have been, and it subsequently was, a massive weight off my shoulders, a massive release. And I think, obviously, if you get to the point where you're talking about divorce and you go, there's a reason for it, and it is very easy to blame yourself. There's 2 people in the marriage. You know, I'm not for 1 minute saying that it's all one person's fault, but it pretty much was. But yeah, I think that ought to be really something that is reinforced time and time again throughout the marriage, not just at the point when you get divorced. So it's about still being able to be yourself together and apart. But, you know, I guess it's like ending a friendship, isn't it? You know, but it's not. It's a lot more messy because you've got everything's intertwined.
I mean, when I was, when I was getting divorced, I knew it was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But it's still a really difficult process, especially if you've got children.
Yeah.
And that's why I say you are grieving. You're grieving for the loss of the person that you're in that, supposed to be in that long-term relationship
It's not what you go into marriage for, is it?
No, it isn't. No, most people anyway.
Do you have that conversation with your clients when they come to see you? Do you say to them, look, don't look at this as a negative, look at it as a...
I try to. And what I say to people, because obviously most of the time if they're not the one that's instigated, they're hurt.
Yes.
And they don't understand what's going on. And I'll just say to them, you've got to think, most people don't wake up one day and just say, I want to get divorced.
Yeah.
There's a process.
Yeah.
So that other person is usually 6 months or a year well in front of you in that emotional journey. So you've got to then take your time to catch up.
Yeah.
And I say you've got to try, and even though you're separating, if they've got children, for example, even though you're separating, you can still be a family unit.
Yeah.
You're still the parents of these children.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not necessarily focusing on the children when you have that conversation about divorce and finances. But I think if they can try and understand that and put their feelings in a box and then focus on, okay, this is what we've got to do and how are we going to achieve it, it just makes for a far better separation.
Absolutely. And I think looking at it from the legal point of view, so from your point of view, surely it's a lot cheaper for them to have that civilized conversation rather than a he said, she said, he's done this, she's done that.
Yeah. So I'll often say to people, when we're looking at the finances, for example, and we get into the stage where we're negotiating, I'll say, okay, you're going to put this proposal forward. If they come back and it's, I don't know, say 10,000 less, for example, I'll say, if you go to court, you're going to, emotionally, it's going to harm you.
Yeah.
But also, you could potentially spend £10,000 in court fees.
Yeah.
You've got no guarantee of what the outcome will be. So sometimes it's just about that compromise.
Yeah.
And you'll finish the process a lot quicker. You can move on a lot quicker.
There's a lot of mentality about, but if I do that, they've won.
Yeah.
You know.
All the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not about that.
Yeah.
There's no winners or losers in divorce, no matter how you feel.
I think that's the same with litigation, really. You know, it's the same sort of conversation I have with people, you know, whether it be a personal injury claim or a probate dispute or neighbour dispute or anything, you know, when you're talking to them about the possible remedies and the outcome and you're at that settlement stage and you're discussing things and you've made an offer at X amount, they've come back with something else, you know, the client's, no, I want this. You know, that's why, well, think about the emotion of another 6 months because we're not settling now, and think about the cost of another 6 months. And it's not that I want to settle to get costs quicker or anything like that. Obviously, I want the best outcome for my client, but it's giving them the best advice. Yeah. It's making them see what their options are. If after that then they say, no, I want to go ahead, that's absolutely fine. And obviously I'll act on their instructions. But I think sometimes you need that separate entity to put some common sense, for want of a better expression, on it. Yeah. So that, you know, you can see the reality of what that actually means, because principles do cost money. We've said it time and time again, and I think that's a thing that's very common in both of our fields of law.
Yeah, because obviously if you're the person that's the other, so in the marriage, if, for example, the husband says to the wife, or, you know, I want to get divorced sort of thing, or vice versa, the person that's being left behind is having to deal with the emotions. Obviously they could, most of the time they still love the other person, but then that gets twisted and they turn to anger, they want revenge, and they want to do everything they can to try and feel better, but it doesn't make them feel better. No. Even if they do manage to harm the other person in some way, whether it's financially or emotionally, they don't feel better, no matter how much they tell themselves they're doing this for the good of everyone, or whatever it is. It isn't, and that's our role, is to take the emotion out of it.
Yes, absolutely.
To try and help them see, these are the steps to get to the end. You can either fight, it's going to cost you a lot, or you can do it quicker. Yeah. Sometimes it's not that easy because the other side can be really difficult and they don't want to compromise.
You can have all the conversations in the world with your client, but if the other side aren't having the same conversations or the same thought process.
Because I'll sometimes get people to say to me, oh, well, you know, the letter from the other side, or the other side solicitors, it's really aggressive, etc. You know, why aren't you like that? Why aren't our responses like that?
What's the point?
And I just say, I'm not gonna play dirty.
No.
There is absolutely no
The
point.
facts are the facts, yeah.
Let's just try and do this, because you can try and help calm the situation down as well. It doesn't always work, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to play that game.
Yeah, no,
I'll
absolutely.
get you where you need to be in the best way possible.
Yeah.
But
So obviously, people here listening have our email address, so lawfullyyourspod@gmail.com. How do they contact you directly? Obviously, they can contact us directly through the lawfullyyourspod@gmail.com.
so I'm on LinkedIn, Geraldine Watson. You can find me on LinkedIn. I've got my own website, Geraldine Watson Family Law Solicitor. And on there are my email address, telephone numbers. So I've got a landline and mobile.
Fabulous.
Can't remember what they are off the top of my head.
Okay, well, we'll tag that in the obviously the link to the episode.
Yes, but hopefully that's been of interest to people.
Yeah, a bit of a whistle-stop tour, but yeah, very interesting. Your daily work involves more than just divorce, because I know being a family solicitor is not just about divorce. And similarly, being a dispute resolution litigation lawyer you can't really cover it in just the word litigation.
I know. I think when we spoke about it before, it's amazing how many different areas that you have to deal with.
Yeah. So one of the things I wanted to talk about today was contested probate. Massive subject, and something that we tend to get a lot of inquiries about. And it can literally be, a very small point that somebody just wants to seek reassurance on, to a massive dispute. So I just wanted to touch upon a little bit about how to contest a will, what sort of claims there can be, and just give you some case studies.
Yeah.
I don't profess to know the ins and outs of a properly drafted will or anything like that. During my studies and obviously doing the work that I do, I know a bit about what makes a valid will, etc. Obviously, when you make a will, you can pretty much give or make any terms within your will as you wish. Whether or not that would be contested after your death is another matter. So you'd think, you can leave your worldly goods to anybody you want, but that's not necessarily the case.
I've heard you can write it on the back of a match.
As long as it meets the requirements under the Wills Act, in terms of the signing of it, etc., then it doesn't matter whether it's written on the back of a cereal box or anything like that. I just wanted to read a couple of funny, unusual clauses that have been put in wills, that I found on the internet before we go into the boring side of the law, if you like. So, a famous historical example required a wife to remarry, so there might be at least one man to regret my death, said one husband. A daughter would inherit her full share only if she left her immoral husband. A man left his fortune to his daughter on condition she never wear jewellery, which he considered expensive, vain and useless.
Oh, wow.
A Portuguese aristocrat left his considerable fortune to 70 strangers chosen at random from a Lisbon phone directory.
Oh, my God.
Can you imagine? A man left a dictionary to his estranged son as a last laugh. Magician Harry Houdini's will requested his wife hold a séance every year to attempt to communicate with him after his death. So you can put various clauses and conditions in a will. They don't always have to be. I was going to say
that last one, Harry Houdini, the will gets distributed. They can't. I'm not going to check up on them every year.
No, exactly. But there are times, obviously, when either there are concerns about the validity of the will, or there are concerns that somebody who should have been provided for in the will hasn't been. So challenges against the will or against the estate can be difficult, time-consuming and costly. But what we would look at is the will valid? So has it been signed correctly? So did the person making the will sign it in front of two independent witnesses who were present at the same time? Okay. So
I've only got one witness on my will.
We'll talk about that in a minute then.
Okay.
So yeah, there are certain conditions that need to be met. did the testator, so the person making the will, have capacity? Were there any concerns that perhaps they had dementia or something that made them actually not understand what it was that they were signing? Do they know what's in the will? That might seem a bit of a strange question, but one of the things that the person who is assisting the individual making the will needs to be aware of is, does the person making the will understand the extent of their estate? And when I say estate, that's mean not their physical property estate, but everything that they own. So it might be that they know that they own a property, but they don't realise that they own all the fields around it, for example, that sort of thing. And do they understand the consequences of what they are saying in their will? So if they're cutting one person out, do they understand why they're doing that? Can they communicate that? Is it clear and is it reasonable, really? So that essentially when it comes to the inevitable, if there's a clear explanation as to why that has happened, then it makes fighting that will harder.
Yeah.
Okay. One of the biggest things that we have as lawyers is siblings arguing that one has had more influence over the parent than the other. And that was particularly true sort of during COVID when people were in bubbles. So you'd have somebody that lived near to dad, somebody that lived far away and perhaps wasn't as close. And when it comes to then reading of the will and one sibling's got a less share or been left out completely, well, that's because you were always with him and you must have told him, you must have turned him against me, that sort of thing. So they're the general sort of ways that we get in terms of trying to contest the will itself. Other ways, and again, it's getting more and more common, particularly when there are unmarried couples, we tend to have people either making against the estate or us being asked to make a claim for provision, reasonable provision, and that's under the Inheritance Provision for Family Independence Act 1975. And that is basically where, so an example I've got is two people living together. The man owned the property, met the lady moved in, lived together for 10 years, property remained in his name, never got married. His will leaves the property to his son. Okay. Obviously, that leaves the lady without a home, essentially. And so she potentially has a claim for reasonable financial provision. And that can take the form of many things. That can be a sum of money from the estate to enable her to move out and get something else. It can be living in the property for the remainder of her life as long as certain conditions are met. So if she meets somebody else, for example, that sort of thing. And so there are. It's not just easy to say, or it seems easy to say, well, I want to leave the property to my kids. But if you're living with somebody else, or for example, if you've got somebody, a child that lives with you, or one of your children that lives with you, an adult child, for example, you can't just leave the property to others and that adult child not have a claim for reasonable provision, because again, they would be left homeless. Obviously, they're all fact specific, case specific. So, somebody might have a stronger claim than others. But yeah, it's something to be aware of.
What if somebody, so say you've got an adult child living with the parents, and they've got their other half living with them, and the parents really, the other person is like violent or just generally a really horrible person. If the person making the will said, I don't want them to get anything because of X, Y, and Z, would that partner still then have a claim?
Possibly not. I think it would be something that, again, would be case specific, but they wouldn't automatically be entitled for reasonable financial provision. And I would suspect that there would be a detailed account annexed to the will in terms of what the reason why they wouldn't want that individual.
Because it seems to me that you make a will, you're expressing your wishes, and those wishes should be upheld.
Yeah.
Irrelevant of anything. Like in your scenario with the parents leaving
Yeah.
less to one child, for example.
Yeah. And usually, so what normally, or what should happen, so the lawyer who is advising the testator in terms of the will should take detailed instructions and note them down in terms of why this is happening. So it might be, and we've had cases like this, it might be that they haven't seen Sarah for 20 years. She's been nothing but trouble. She causes friction in the family. She doesn't want anything to do with us. She said she doesn't want anything to do with us, and therefore I'm leaving everything to Bob.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Providing that the testator had the capacity and the understanding to make that decision, and that it's fully detailed in the solicitor's file as to why that decision was made, and providing Sarah wasn't financially liable, financially dependent on her parents, for example.
She wouldn't be if she'd been,
she wouldn't be, but she would have to prove that. Okay.
So if Sarah came to you and just said, "Oh, mum and dad have died, last parents died, leaving everything to Bob, I want to make a claim on it," and you saw the will and there was a letter attached to it, for example, sort of thing.
So what we would do is we would get the solicitor's file and have a look in that file to see why that decision was made, etc. Because sometimes you'll get some information from one and some information from another that obviously they don't tally. So it could be actually vice versa, that actually there's undue influence, which is going back to, the poisoning against one against the other.
But if it was all above board, then you would say to Sarah, sorry, can't claim.
Yeah, and again, going back to what we were talking about earlier, I would give that client the best advice and say, look, the chances are you're not going to get home on this, and you have to accept that this decision was made for the reasons that are stated.
Yeah.
If they want to pursue it further, then obviously we do that. But bearing in mind that obviously the costs are going to be significant and the prospects are going to be low.
Are the costs a lot then?
They can be, yeah. So someone that makes a claim for reasonable financial provision can get their costs from the estate. Oh. Okay. Obviously, that's where it becomes a little bit dicey sometimes, because if you've got a low value estate, the more costs are taken out of the estate, the less there is to distribute to the beneficiaries that are entitled. And if there's a property involved, it might end up that the property has to be sold to pay legal costs and then distribute. So there's so many sort of little branches that you need to think about when you're dealing with this. If somebody has changed their will significantly, so in January 2022, Beryl made a will saying that she wants her assets to be divided equally between her two children, Bob and Sarah. And then 4 years later, she makes another will completely leaving Sarah out. Then you would need to look at what the reason is for that deviation, that significant change. If it's because Sarah said, I don't want anything more to do with you, etc., then... But if there's any suggestion of undue influence, or the testator perhaps not having capacity, then that's something that we'd need to look into.
In that scenario then, I know I'm asking lots of questions, but in that scenario where Beryl changed the will, left everything to Bob, but the solicitor drafting the will didn't really put any notes on the file, Sarah then challenges it, could then Bob sue the solicitor for negligence?
Possibly.
If say like he was really close to his mum, and his mum had said to him, I'm leaving Sarah out of the will because of X, Y and Z, blah, 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 blah. So Bob knew all the reasons why.
Well, I don't know whether he'd be able to sue the solicitor, because the solicitor, I mean, I think you could cast doubt on their competence for the fact that they haven't made a note as to why there's such a big deviation from the previous will. So I think that would be questionable, but I don't know whether, providing Beryl had sound mind and there were no questions over her capacity or her reasons, then I think it would remain a dispute between the siblings as opposed to any claim against the lawyer.
Okay.
Because that wouldn't be negligence as such.
It just means, because there's no notes on the file, it's allowing Sarah to dispute the will, where if there's a clear record on the file.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. If there's any question about capacity, then the golden rule when when a will drafter is taking instructions from an elderly client or someone that perhaps may not have capacity is to get a capacity report, because medical records will help in terms of how that person was able to understand things going on in their life, like with their GP, but capacity can come and go. Okay. And the important capacity issue is at the time the will was made and signed.
Oh, okay.
So if the will was made and signed today and tomorrow capacity was lost, for example, the will remains valid, because at the time that individual knew what they were doing, why they wanted to do it.
So is it right that, say, someone with dementia, for example, they could still have capacity?
Yes.
Heard that.
Yeah, because dementia in itself is a progressive condition.
Yeah.
So you might get diagnosed today and still be able to live a normal life.
Yeah.
But in 12 months, 2 years' time, what your life looks like then would be very different. But if you make a will knowing that obviously this is what's coming, then as long as you have the capacity at the time that you make the will, then it will be valid. Okay. So undue influence we've talked about a bit. It's very difficult to prove. The reason for that is because the same, I guess, in family law, undue influence occurs when no one else is around.
Yeah.
Okay. And it happens when, normally when the individual who's subject to the undue influence is vulnerable, isolated, probably suffering from, recent bereavement or something like that. So it's very difficult to prove. Not impossible, but difficult. And obviously evidence is key. Always got to think about whether it's worth challenging the will, like we spoke about before. What will the individual who's looking to claim benefit? If it's a very small estate and they're looking at a couple of grand, then is it worth it? I would say probably not. If the will is deemed to be invalid, then what would happen is that will would be treated as if it had never been in existence. And if there's a previous will, that will would come into play. If there's not, then in the intestacy rules would come into play. So you'd need to look at, if this will is deemed to be invalid, what does that mean for my client? What would the outcome be? Is that going to be less favourable than if we accept the will as it stands? Okay. So I've already given you an example about sort of the bubble during COVID, that sort of thing, and that's a case that I've dealt with. Not everyone can claim in terms of reasonable financial provision. There's some categories who can claim, most commonly a spouse or civil partner. It can be a former spouse or civil partner. People who are living together, husband and wife or civil partner, a child, someone treated as a child, or someone maintained by the deceased. So, for example, if you've got dad who pays money to the son that lives 10 miles away because he's not got a job, then that's financial reliable.
See, former as well, former partner. Is that if they're still being maintained?
Yes.
Right, okay.
Yeah. And so again, it would be case specific in terms of what is reasonable. It's not about, unless the two were married, it's not about maintaining the same lifestyle that they had before. It's about being reasonable. What financial resources does that individual have for their own lifestyle, so for their own bills, etc., and the impact that it would have on other beneficiaries as well. Limitation, so that's 6 months from the date the grant is issued, so it's quite a tight deadline.
You say the grant?
The grant. So when somebody dies, you have to apply for either a grant of probate if they've left a will, or letters of administration if they haven't left a will, and that gives the individual, the executor or the administrator, the right to deal with the estate and distribute it.
I thought you just got on and did what the will said.
No, not always. I mean, sometimes you can, if there's no value in the estate, then,
okay.
and it's sort of just academic, if you like. But yeah, so 6 months is quite a tight deadline. Although the granting of the probate does take some time, it's not, a quick process.
Really?
So things that would be covered in terms of reasonable financial provision would be living expenses, housing needs, reasonable outgoings, etc. Already given you an example about the unmarried couple. So yeah, it's. I mean, that's a whistle-stop tour of contested probate, there are so many individual nuances within that area of law that can apply, and so many differently decided cases, and it's quite an interesting element to what we do, but it's quite a big area of work that we do.
Yeah, a lot of inquiries for it then. Do you think it's about greed?
I think it's about money, and I think it's about what's right, what's felt to be right, and I understand, because you grow up as children in the same family, generally having the same love and attention and the same treatment, same holidays and everything else. And then as adults, things sometimes tend to go a bit wrong. Go your own way, have your own life. And then I think it can be a bit of, well, why shouldn't I inherit from that estate when I've had the same upbringing? But yeah, it's very sad. It's very sad, because I've had clients who have sat and sobbed in front of me saying, but I looked after Dad, I did all his shopping, I took him everywhere, I did everything for him, took him to all his hospital appointments. They were nowhere to be seen, didn't want anything to do with it. I've even had a case where the estranged adult child, has written a letter to parents to say, don't want anything to do with you. And yet still coming back to say, actually, we want, so it's hard.
If you can, you might not be able to off the top of your head, what percentage of cases go to court, would you say?
Very few, in my experience. Again, because there's that discussion in terms of, right, we need to realistically look at what the issues are, what the prospects are, how much it's going to cost, what you're going to stand to gain. You do get the odd that, that it's not going to settle, and you're going to need the court to make that decision for you. And others where they say, no, I want my day in court.
So in family, for example, we have to, unless they're exempt, they have to have I call it a certificate from the mediator to enable them to make an application. Is that the same in contested probate?
So, no, but mediation and ADR is always encouraged. So we always say to the clients, look, before you go down the litigation route, let's try and mediate, get an independent mediator in and try and reach an agreement to this. And it's that big word, compromise.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter
but do they have to, though? Because, like I say, in finances, they have to have that certificate.
There's no certificate of anything. But inferences will be drawn if they refuse to mediate.
And can the court send them to mediation?
They could. There's no only in small claims. There's like a independent mediator through the court that is kind of a. But yeah, there's no compulsory mediation at all.
And if they do go to court, if they do challenge a win and they do go to court, is there cost consequences for the losing party, I suppose?
Well, depending on the nature of the dispute. Right. So, but generally speaking, the costs are taken from the estate.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Again, with caveats that not every case is the same. But yeah, if you've got someone claiming for financial provision from the estate, then their costs will come from the estate. And that's obviously something that needs to be borne in mind when you're advising the client who's looking to oppose that.
Very interesting.
So yeah, there we go.
There we go. That's really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk for hours on the various things that we both do, and I guess that's what this podcast is all about, trying to get the information out there. Yeah. So,
I want to end just on about Taylor Swift.
Okay, and you've got your thought for the day, don't forget.
Oh, yeah.
Go on, what about Tay-Tay?
So Taylor Swift, so obviously there's lots of people in this environment where we are now that like Taylor. They're Swifters, aren't they?
Yes, we are.
So my other half is a massive Swiftie.
Yeah.
And she did a documentary on the Eras tour.
Yeah.
So he had it on and I was watching it. I was like, oh, this is quite interesting, actually. I watched the whole series with him.
Are you now a Swiftie?
No, I'm not a Swiftie, but it has given me a sense of how hard she works, how close her and all of her crew
family
are.
And a crew, yeah, absolutely.
She doesn't come across as a diva.
No.
She might be, but she doesn't come.
She doesn't come. She seems to be very genuine.
Yeah, and she's got a mum with her, a dad with her, a brother with her, and I just have I take my hat off to the.
We
woman.
love Tay-Tay, don't we, Megan?
I know.
We do. We love Tay-Tay.
I definitely take my hat off to her, and it's like I say, I enjoy her music, but I just don't get what the phenomenon is.
Did you watch the concert as well?
Not yet. I've got that to come. But obviously, in the documentary, they show you the bits. But it's just, I was just amazed how much
brilliant
hard work and thought goes into it.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. She gave everyone those bonuses.
I know.
That's crazy.
Mad.
Yeah.
Anyway, Tay-Tay,
and she's having a prenup.
Yes.
She's having a prenup.
If you're listening, Geraldine Watson, family solicitor, will happily advise you in relation to your prenup. And we would love to have you our guest on the podcast.
I can't find which book it's in.
Jess is just having it. What's that?
Really?
Oh, yeah, the Chiefs. Yeah, if Travis Kelce wants to come on as well, we'll
get him on as well then, yeah. I think they're a bit farther away though, aren't they?
Well, it don't matter, does it? What are you doing,
I'm trying to find the bit where I've got the thought for the day. Here it is, I've got it.
Go for it.
Get a light.
Get a light?
Get a light. That's the heading for it.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Get a light. We've got a light. There's a light up there. So, we humans are biolanterns. Okay? Our bodies emit a faint, visible light due to chemical reactions happening inside our cells. So, if you were in a completely dark room, you would be softly glowing. The light is about 1,000 times weaker than our eyes can detect. So even though we feel solid, we are essentially walking lanterns made of stardust. We are glowing right now. We just can't see it.
Okay.
So does that make you feel like warm and fuzzy inside?
No, not
That was
really.
really interesting.
So when people say you're glowing, it's not because you've had too much wine and your cheeks are red. It's because you're emitting this.
You're emitting this
stardust.
light, faint, visible light.
Okay.
So we're all warm and fuzzy.
And on that note, we will draw this episode of Lawfully Yours to a conclusion. It's been all right, hasn't it, mate?
Yes, as always.
We encourage and indeed request questions from our listeners.
We was going to ask something, weren't we? What were we going to ask? Oh, okay. Carry on.
As I was saying, if any of our listeners have any questions for us as family lawyer and dispute resolution, forgot what I did for a minute then, please contact us at lawfullyyourspod@gmail.com. Contact us on LinkedIn, or you can contact us via Instagram, and can they contact us via TikTok? By TikTok, Lawfully Yours Pod. Yeah, and we'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have. Do they have to be legally related? They could be questions about, I'll say personal questions, but not too personal. But
they could ask us questions if they wanted to.
Yeah,
I don't mind. Depends on what the question is.
We'll censor them.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So don't forget to like, follow, and share. Tell all your friends and family about us because we want to get our name out there. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon. That's been us. I'm Vickki Ridgway.
And I'm Geraldine Watson.
And we bid you good day.